going to attempt to start that process on July 12th. But I appreciate your help, Mr. Stubb. Up next, signed up to speak, we have Sharon Bishop. If you could just come state your name, address, and you have 5 minutes.
Hello, my name is Sharon Bishop. I'm at 15 South Cannon Avenue. Just as the gentleman said, we're seeing it daily, what he is talking about, the loitering, drug activity, panhandling in broad daylight, and then camping or sleeping in open areas. I want to say a month ago, we did contact the city because tents were starting to, set up, and I wanted to nip that in the bud before the common area turned into, I don't even want to know what you call that, when the homeless just come in with tents. But anyway, and it was taken care of that day, and we were told that there would be no trespassing, and if they, and then they would have criminal charges if they were loitering again. And it stopped for like a week, and then now it's again. It's horrible. I don't feel safe. We don't feel safe with our children, grandchildren out front, because they're just doing it on the sidewalk in front of us. In the backyards, we found needles. We can't have our dogs and kids go out in the back because they might get, stuck with something. I don't know what the answer is. I have ideas, but again, I don't know what to do. I don't, more police patrol, which, by the way, the police officers that have responded have been great and awesome, and they're just as frustrated as we are because the people that they are trying to arrest, it's multiple arrests, and then they're released within hours, and they're right back at the sheets. I don't know what else to do. Again, more cameras maybe. They have trimmed trees and bushes before, and that helped, but now they, of course, they grow back, so we can get rid of them. They actually put barriers behind our homes in the alleyway so cars don't go, but what's happening is they're just walking back there, and just that's where they are doing stuff. So I hate to keep beating a dead horse because you said it, but I don't know what else to do. We don't want to leave our homes. We do take pride in our homes, and we don't want to be forced to leave. I refuse to leave, and I refuse to have them run me out, because when I did move there, it was asked of me, why did I move there? And because I love my home. I love my house, and I'm just not going to let them run me out. However, we've had to call the police because we didn't feel safe going into our homes at night. And then I don't want to call 911. I call the non-emergency because it's really not an emergency, but it is, and I don't know what to do. Should I call 911 to say I'm in my car but I don't feel safe going into my home? Or do I continue to call the non-emergency police and just wait until they get there? So we're at our wits' end, and we just want to get to the bottom of it because, again, we take pride in what we have, and we're dealing with people that don't take pride in themselves, let alone our things. We're constantly cleaning up trash, but I know my 5 minutes is up, so thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sharon.
Okay. Thank you. Up next, we have Walter Bishop.
Good evening. I don't want to make it repetitious, but basically it's the same situation. You got groups of people walking up and down the sidewalk outside of Sheets. You have people that stand in the driveway of Sheets asking cars to give them money so they can go eat, which of course they're not going to eat, but that's a whole nother situation. And they move around as a group. You see them on one side of the city. I mean, we've seen them on the other side of Hagerstown during the day. So they're coming from our side over to there. And it's not what I call a pretty picture in the morning to get up and look out my front window and watch these people wandering as I get prepared to go to work. You know, they say they're looking for jobs. I don't know, I've seen a lot of signs in Hagerstown where people want to hire you. So I don't know what their justification is. I don't know how they can feel comfortable. You know, we've spoken with them time after time and said, look, if you would just clean up your mess when you went someplace, we could be a little understanding. And one guy said, well, there's only one of us, and the other ones are doing this, and the other ones, well, then everybody pays the price. Okay, if you sit on the wall and you leave garbage, I'm gonna call on you. So anyway, thank you all for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, last signed up to speak, we have Debbie Brooks.
Debbie Brooks, 21 South Cannon Avenue. As Sharon was saying, with the trash and the overdoses, it's just getting unreal. You can look out your door and see them falling over on the sidewalks. You can't let your kids out front. You can't let your kids out back. The barriers they put up, it's just drug alley now. They're all down where the barriers are along the parking garage doing their drugs. So it really, we don't know what else to do. But as Sharon said, there has to be something done because it's getting really out of control. I guess that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm going to say something real quick.
Me too.
Mayor, is it okay?
Yeah, me too.
So guys, we totally understand. I mean, we see it. I'm up there a lot. I drive through. You know, I get it. I can only promise you this, and I can't speak much about it tonight. Over the next several weeks, you're going to see some changes. And I guarantee you there'll be changes for the better. But there's some sensitive issues that we have to address that we can't do it in public right now. But keep an eye out. That's all I can ask. And please, you know, keep calling HPD. Keep doing that. You know, I mean, you're going to see some changes. So I hope you can just bear with us long enough to see those changes happen.
Well, we're not going anywhere.
I got you.
I'm going to take you your word.
Thank you, Mike.
I'm getting out of here before I get in trouble.
Well, you're close.
So the only thing I wanted to add, I was gonna say the same thing, but the only other thing I wanna add is just to address the Sheets, because we have met with Sheets more than once, and we've met with their managers, we've met with their managers' managers, we've met with their managers' managers' managers, in that room, actually, and we made a list of some fairly easy things that Sheets could do to help. And Chief was there, Chief Lohr was there, our fire chief, several other people, and we looked at what could help out police, what could help out citizens, and Sheets didn't do any of it. So I'm not passing the blame all on them because we're all in this together, but we have met with them and we have tried to ask them to do very simple things.
We asked, now the time for asking's over.
Yeah, the time for asking is over, right? So I just wanted to put that out there. It's not for lack of effort, unfortunately.
Mayor, we contacted Meredith, who owns that lot where the chapel used to be with the tent chapel on Sundays, and they were to put up no trespassing signs. We know that as of this morning, there still weren't any, because I go home that way every day, and I see the cesspool that area has become.
Yeah, but we were told Meredith doesn't own that.
No, they do.
They do, 100%.
And they were spoken to today, and please let me know if you don't see, if you see no passing signs go up in the next day or two. No, and that's fine. And if they do, then that can be acted on. But right now, we can't act on anything because it doesn't state no trespassing. And, and so the first half double is 13 South Cannon, right? Then y'all are at 15. Then you all are at the last building before the lot, before where old Pangborn Hall used to be. Okay, I just want to make sure. I
And before
understood.
the alley, or on the alley.
On the alley, on the alley.
Yeah, my house is in between Sharon's and the house that goes in the alley.
Sharon, is 13 vacant?
No, he has 2 tenants, and that's Clayton's property.
Right.
He has 2 tenants in there now, they just moved in, I wanna say within the last month.
Okay, because I thought it had been vacant.
Yeah, and then my house, Deb, and then there's another woman that lives on the end.
Okay.
In the alley there.
Okay, okay. So let me know that, will you? If you don't see signs, go up there.
Okay.
I'll be checking
Thanks.
tomorrow, yeah.
That was
Well,
all,
I do too, so.
that was everyone who was signed up to speak. Is there anyone else who would like to speak during public comment? All right. Up next, we have a public hearing, A-2022-01 for Unger Properties LLC. The floor is yours.
So Kathy, before you start, if you would raise your right hand, get sworn in too. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the responses given and statements made will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, so good evening.
Before we begin, yeah, you guys don't have to stay for the rest of it, it's real boring from here on out. If you want to head out, we
Thank you, yeah.
we won't be offended.
Oh, except Walt, he has to stay.
And the mayor.
Yeah, the new mayor.
And
Got a
yes,
good job up
the
here.
soon-to-be mayor, yes. Give us like 5 minutes, I promise.
Okay. So we're here for the Unger family annexation. We had in April, let me zoom this over. Here we go. In April, the applicants submitted their petition to the mayor and city council to annex this farm into the city, and that was at the April regular meeting. At the same meeting, mayor and council introduced the annexation resolution and approved the annexation plan. The next step in the process, after a lengthy period of advertisement, is to hold the public hearing, and so that's where we are tonight. And so this, just to orient you, the Unger property it's colored in with black right there. It's the farm back behind Ted's Rennet off of Virginia Avenue. It has frontage on Virginia Avenue and Oak Ridge Drive, 115 acres. And it's contiguous to the city as well as in the city's growth area. And water and wastewater service will be by the city when the property develops. This is a map showing the current county zoning. All of that blue is their residential urban, which is very similar to the city's R-mod, which is residential moderate density. And so, as I mentioned, it's 115 acres. It's currently zoned RU. They are proposing to come into the city with RR mod. This is showing the city zoning. All of the gray is outside of the city. The colored areas are inside the city. The existing zoning of adjoining properties are R mod, the yellow, and purple, which is industrial general. And then the proposed city zoning, as it's colored in the farm now, instead of being black, is yellow, and that would be the R mod, just as the land is to the east. This is an aerial view. You can see that it actually still appears to be croplands back in there. But it's all developed along the frontage of Virginia and partially along the frontage of Oak Ridge. But when you get back in there, it's still open land. One of the tests with the annexation by state law is the consistency of the zoning of the existing county zoning to what's being proposed for the city. And if it's not very similar, then the county commissioners need to provide express approval to make that change. So as is required, we sent all of the annexation information to the state and to the county 30 days for a 30-day review and comment period. And we have heard back in writing from both the state and the county agreeing that the city's R-mod is consistent with the county's RU, and therefore express approval of the zoning is not required by the county. One thing that we need to bring up, brought to our attention by the applicant's engineer, they need to make some small corrections to the material they submitted to us for the meets and bounds description and the annexation plat. It's so minute, it's inches apparently. I don't even know if we would have known if Fred hadn't brought it to our attention, but anyway, he wants it to be correct. But it's such a tiny, tiny changes where it's happening, you can't tell when you look at the map. But anyway, the desire is to make sure it's as correct as possible. So what we'd like to do is just swap out those pages in the resolution when you vote on it at the end of July. If you have any questions about that, we do have the applicant's engineer who came out special for this meeting. So as I mentioned earlier, all the activity that happened in April, tonight is the hearing, and then we're going to have a follow-up discussion, or as I have it there, follow discussion, on July 12th to discuss whatever we hear tonight and to find out what the mayor and council wants to do with this request to be annexed into the city. If it is adopted at the meeting at the end of July, it would become effective 45 days later, which is mid-September. We have received one piece of public input so far. We received an email from Linda Murray on Pin Oak Road, which is in that area, expressing concern about the additional traffic that could be generated by a residential development on this farm and about the impact of new dwelling units on the public school system. She wondered if the developer would consider donating land for a school site on the tract. Just want to offer up some staff observations for you. The current county zoning and the proposed city zoning are very similar. They both allow only the same types of uses, which is single-family detached or two-family. And the densities permitted in both are very similar. In fact, the city's zoning, if you can believe it or not, is slightly less dense than the county's RU zoning. Any traffic impacts that would be generated by a proposed development will be assessed during the development review process through a traffic study, which will be reviewed with the city and the county, and if the state's involved with Virginia Avenue, also with the state. And then just touching on the school issue, the city does not have an adequate public facilities ordinance for schools, and nor is the city able to influence the county's school capacity expansion funding decisions, which is basically why we don't have an APFO for schools. At this time, I'd like to enter into the record the certification of advertisement for the hearings for the 4 ads that we had in the paper for this case, which is A-2022-01. And then if people have questions after tonight's meeting, they can reach me at that address or at that email address. And then that is all I have. I'll put a map back up in case anybody does want to speak. Okay.
Thank you. Do you guys have any questions for Kathy?
So, a couple of questions. The first is, so it mentions in the annexation plan that there's sufficient capacity for water to serve the property. I know that in this area, folks, especially in the Greenberry Hills area, have complained of water pressure. And I know folks on that side of the street, because I live there, have complained of water pressure issues. And so I want to make sure that when it says in here that there's adequate capacity to serve the development, we may have the gallons to serve it. I would be curious before we proceed in this measure to make sure that we've got adequate water pressure as well.
That would be part of the development review process. If something needs to be done in order to accommodate this development, that input is provided by the Water and Wastewater Division of our Utilities Department. Just as with the Black Rock proposal that was being, that seems to have fizzled out, but they were planning to double the size of that project, and they were not going to be able to do that unless they made significant upgrades to the infrastructure, because out there the pressure is very, very bad. I haven't heard anything about pressure issues here, but that would certainly come out during the development review process.
So, that said, for the folks, out there impacted in this area, somebody's going to do some pressure testing before that process commences, right?
They're probably aware of it now, but yes, yes.
Okay. The second question is, while I certainly understand and the fact that we don't have an APFO, and certainly as it applies to the county's obligation to provide school capacity, this development will go to Williamsport High School? That's the district that it's in?
Probably, because our city development in that area does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I mean, as I hear the term probably, and I know the capacity issues that exist at South High, so I would hope that we would confirm that before proceeding, because clearly South High does not have the capacity available to handle additional student capacity. So that's just something I would hope we would confirm.
When
as
we
head
do
down that
development
road.
review, we receive feedback from the Board of Education about schools.
Okay. The third item is recognizing that the annexation plan says that the proposed zoning, city zoning is consistent with county zoning, that, you know, whatever developed has to be the same, basically. When it says that permitted uses within our, or within the city's district that's being proposed to be applied to the property, and it lists single-family, duplex, and semi-detached, it,
Semi-detached is a subdivided duplex.
right. So that doesn't include the ability for then the property developer to request something that would be permitted by special exception.
We don't have any other type of housing that could be done by special exception. The only way you could do anything
Okay.
else would be like with a planned unit development. That then could get you townhouses, apartments, whatever, but we don't have a special exception to give you different types of housing units in the RMOD.
Okay. So if the annexer, you know, the property owner proposing to annex, because that gets me a little concerned when you say they could submit a PUD and then get other things,
Although in the 5 years that we have,
they can't.
the county would have to weigh in, because it would be a change in the zoning.
Okay. And then the next question, it says here that the couple of roads that it mentions, Oak Ridge Drive, Marion Street, does that include connection to Virginia Avenue as well?
Yes.
Okay, because it says in here that there had to be a county traffic study review. I would assume then there'd be a state review as well.
Yes, if the state maintains 11 in that area, then yes, they would be part of the traffic study review.
Okay,
And it's not a city road out there, so definitely the county's involved. And if the state maintains that road, then they're involved too.
okay. Because obviously, as I have expressed in the past, especially for developments of this size, the more places that roads can connect, the better it is for public maintenance and public infrastructure. I know that everybody wants to live in a house at the end of a cul-de-sac, and I know that those house lots sell for a lot more, but they do nothing to help the long-term viability and connectivity of streets, which benefit everybody in the long run. So I just want to make sure that in that process, you know, every road that such a development can connect to, it should connect to, because that benefits everyone and certainly benefits the cost to us to manage the infrastructure and to maintain those public improvements over the long haul.
And there are many opportunities for road connections to this farm.
And then I have two additional items. One is, I'm assuming we're going to apply the Forest Resource Ordinance as we would, which means they have to secure it on site, and if they can't, then they go down those steps of things.
Yeah.
And associated with that, in the annexation plan, it mentions that there's no parks and recreation facility expansion are not proposed for this annexation. When I hear that and I think about the area and I think about the size and I think about like the development we had out off of 81,
Kilpatrick Woods.
where there was a park that was then added as part of the development process. All I'm saying is I hear what that's saying, but if you've got a residential development of 100+ acres of RMOD, somewhere in that development process, somebody should be saying you need to put playgrounds in for the families, for direct access, for neighborhood activity. So I would hope that that's included in that development review process. Otherwise, what happens is everybody's got to drive, you know, to those limited recreational amenities that exist already within the area. And then the last item I would note in the annexation plan, it says, the areas of annexation is undeveloped and will be served by existing emergency medical services provided by Meredith Medical Center, Community Rescue Service, Inc., and the City of Hagerstown Fire Department. So when it's annexed, does it, and I should probably know this, does it automatically become the Community Rescue Services service area? Because I'm thinking of the mutual aid agreement that we have, and I'm thinking, you know, halfway is right
Halfway's a
there.
lot closer.
You know what I mean? And we're saying in this that you know, in the plan, we're sort of obligating to say CRS is gonna serve this area. And I know that that gets into the stickiness of, you know, which station gets to serve what area, but I just found it odd that it sort of makes that assumption in the document when there are other stations, you know, more readily positioned to be able to better serve or more quickly serve that development. So it's just, that item caught my eye.
Does anyone else have any questions for Kathy? All right. We do have one person signed up to speak today, Zach Kiefer.
Mayor, Council, good evening. My name is Zachary Kiefer. I'm the attorney for Unger Properties LLC, the property owner and the applicant, and I need to be sworn in.
It doesn't last from last month, I was. So please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm under the penalties of perjury that the responses given and statements made will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And I won't take up too much of your time tonight, I promise. Kathy did a great job sort of teeing this up and hitting all the high points. Just a couple comments and some things for the record. But to reiterate, the annexation will not create any unincorporated enclaves which are bounded on all sides by real property within the corporate limits of the city or real property proposed to be within the corporate limits of the city as a result of the proposed annexation or a combination of two. I think we did discuss that at the initial introduction, but wanted that to be part of the record tonight. The petitioner is the owner of 100% of the assessed value of the area, and there are no registered voters currently living in the proposed annexation area. To put a finer point or maybe a bow around the compatibility between the county's RU zoning district and the towns, when we're looking at minimum lot areas for the different uses, we've got in the county, single-family dwelling minimum lot sizes are 6,500 square feet, whereas the town zoning, as Kathy alluded to, the single-family minimum is 7,500, and then for both two-family dwellings and single-family semi-detached, both the minimums are 5,000 and 10,000 square feet, and actually reverse those. But so, you know, I don't think you could get much closer as far as from a compatibility standpoint. And then finally, Commissioner Alshire, or it's Councilman Alshire, excuse me, those points that you brought up, water pressure, housing types, road adequacy, things like that. This is certainly not the last time that staff and the city will get a look at this proposal. We're strictly here tonight on the annexation component, not the development component. I'm sure there will be many discussions regarding the development, forestation, parks, things like that. So numerous opportunities for input from the city as far as the actual development prior to final site plan. And with that, I'll just conclude that my client would ask that the city adopt the resolution to annex the Unger property and enlarge the boundary of the city of Hagerstown accordingly at the regular meeting. That's all I have tonight, and I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak for or against? Okay, so we will revisit this at the July 12th meeting and go from there. And with that, we'll close the public hearing. All right, up next, Paige. Let's see, I'm gonna come up here first. Municipal League has an essay contest for fourth graders called If I Were Mayor. This year's essay was about the soul of Maryland and a slogan for Maryland, and I was able to pick top 3 winners for Washington County, Hagerstown area. I have to tell you, being the mayor, this is my absolute favorite thing to do. Your essay really touched me, And you give me hope for our future, because I'm fairly certain that your generation is going to be the one that saves this country after reading those essays. So I appreciate you. And I was actually the chair of the committee for the entire state this year that got to read the essays all over the districts. We spent about 12 hours one day reading fourth graders' essays. And I have to tell you, it was incredible. They were inspiring. Some of them were hilarious. Some of them were heartbreaking. One gentleman from the Eastern Shore said if he were mayor, he would make sure that funnel cakes are available year-round and not just at carnivals. And so there were some really cool things. But thank you for your essay. And I do have a special recognition for you. And so I congratulate you on your essay and encourage you to continue with your goals. And if it's okay, I'm going to bring you up here to be mayor for the rest of the meeting. Do you want to say anything? Slosher, is that how we say her last name? So Mayor Slosher.
Mayor Slosher.
Yes. All right. So we are going to start out with the minutes. So if you want to say, can I have an approval of the minutes?
Can I have approval of the minutes?
Madam Mayor, I hereby move to approve the minutes of May 3rd, May 10th, May 17th, and May 24th, all of 2022.
Second.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, sorry. Did you second?
Yes.
Okay, second by Takesha. Say, any discussion?
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion carries. Motion carries.
Motion carries.
Good job. All right, that's what we're going to say every time. We'll get used to it, okay? Ready? Say, can I have approval of the consent agenda?
Can I have approval of the consent agenda?
Madam Mayor, I hereby move that all the consent agenda be approved as presented.
Second. Any discussion?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion carries.
Motion carries.
All right, I'll read this one 'cause that's long. We have the introduction of an ordinance for the conversion district overlay, 535 Summit Avenue.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move that the mayor and city council introduce an ordinance and findings of fact to amend the zoning map for the city of Hagerstown to apply conversion district overlay district on property located at 535 Summit Avenue. The findings of fact include alternate concept plan number 4 as the mayor and city council's condition of approval.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Hang of it, right? All right, introduction of an ordinance, local conversion district overlay, 245 North Potomac Street.
Madam Mayor, hereby move that the mayor and city council introduce an ordinance for a local conversion district overlay on property located at 245 North Potomac Street.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
The introduction of an ordinance, illicit discharge ordinance.
Sounds like you, Shelley.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move for the introduction of an ordinance to amend Chapter 213 of the City Code to add provisions to allow the city to deal with illicit discharges to the stormwater system.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
For resolution fiscal year 2023 strategic demolition fund application.
Madam Mayor, I have moved the mayor and city council approve a resolution to submit an application for FY 2023 strategic demolition funding from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development as discussed on June 7, 2022. The application will request, one, $250,000 to assist with pre-development activities on the city's adaptive reuse of the M&T Bank building for municipal offices. Two, $250,000 to assist with pre-development activities for the new field house project. And three, $75,000 to assist with the city's down payment assistance program for home ownership.
Second.
Seconded by Bob. Oh, he's right here. I could hear that one first. I don't know. Seconded by Takesha.
Bob's, I was a little concerned.
No, he's I know your voice
Put
by
a little
now.
bass in there.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of a parking lease for the Rochester parking lot with the Administrative Office of the Court.
Madam Mayor, hereby move for the approval of resolution entering into a parking lease agreement between the City of Hagerstown and the Administrative Office of the Courts for the rental of 24 parking spots in the Rochester parking lot for use by the Washington County Circuit Court. The term of the lease is 1 year and commences on July 1, 2022. The annual rent to be paid to the city is $16,128.00.
Second.
Oh.
Shelley.
I heard Shelley on that one.
Shelley.
Well, Tigger and I sound alike, so you guys can
Any
tell.
discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of a user agreement with the Halfway National Little League for use of Staley Park.
Madam Mayor? It's happening. Madam Mayor, hereby move for the approval of a resolution to enter into a non-exclusive user agreement with the Halfway National Little League for use of portion of Staley Park. The city shall charge no monetary rent for use of the premises.
Second.
Nobody wants to.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of a resolution, lease agreement with Marketplace LLC for the City of Hagerstown property located at 25 West Church Street, Hagerstown, Maryland.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move for the mayor and city council to approve the attached resolution authorizing the lease agreement with Marketplace LLC at the City of Hagerstown property located at 25 West Church Street in Hagerstown, Maryland. The term of the lease shall begin June 29, 2022, and end on December 31st, 2022. Upon conveyance of the property, the lease shall terminate. The approval provides that the city administrator and/or city attorney may make administrative edits to attached agreement if necessary prior to execution.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of a grant agreement with the Maryland Energy Administration.
Madam Mayor, hereby move to authorize the city to enter into a grant agreement with the Maryland Energy Administration. The grant will be used for energy efficiency improvements by replacing 86 light fixtures with LED fixtures, including 61 Cobra headlights at Fairgrounds Park and 25 Acorn lights along the Hamilton Run Trail. The grant amount is $30,747 and will be matched with $5,426 by the general fund or city light fund.
Second.
Do that one.
Seconded by Takesha.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval to renew the memorandum of understanding with the Washington County Board of Education.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council approval to renew the MOU with the Washington County Board of Education for school resource officers, SROs, for the purposes of updating the duties, responsibilities, and reimbursement. The term of this MOU shall be 4 years, beginning on July 1, 2022, and stay in force until the execution of a new agreement and/or party terminates this agreement.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
And approval of HVAC service and maintenance agreement contract from July 1, 22 to June 30th, 23.
Madam Mayor, I move the mayor and city council to authorize and approve MS Johnston Company, Inc. as the city of Hagerstown's air filtration systems and HVAC heating, ventilation, air condition, preventative maintenance, and repair contract with hourly repair services as needed for various buildings, facilities within the city of Hagerstown. These services were formally bid in May 2022. Bid number B1747.22. Contract term is July 1, 2022 through June 30, 2023, with the possibility of up to 3 additional consecutive one-year renewals, subject to the mutual consent of the city of Hagerstown and MS Johnston Company, Inc. MS Johnston Company, Inc.'s FY23 annual amount is $38,116, with the departmental breakdown as follows. Department name: Fire Department, $680, Light Department, $2,060, Parks Department, $6,580, Public Works Department, $14,666, Water Department, $4,790, Wastewater Department, $9,340, the grand total, $38,116.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of fiscal year 23 Invest Hagerstown Grant Program funding levels.
Madam Mayor, hereby move for the mayor and city council to approve the Invest Hagerstown Grant Program's funding levels for fiscal year 2023 according to the attached chart. The program includes 5 categories: the City Center Redevelopment Grant Program, the Citywide Redevelopment Grant Program, the Homeownership Grant Program, the Rental Property Rehabilitation Grant Program, and the Commercial Sign and Facade Grant Program. Mayor and City Council approved the City Center Redevelopment Grant applications and will approve the reuse of any uncommitted, undisbursed, and/or forfeited commitments in the City Center Redevelopment Grant category. The Program Review Committee approves the grant applications across the other categories and will approve the reuse of any uncommitted, undisbursed, and/or forfeited commitments in all categories except the City Center Redevelopment Grant category, with the ability to reuse such funds across any of those program components. Funding of this program will come from the Economic Redevelopment Fund, Invest Hagerstown line items in the fiscal year 2023 budget.
Second. I'm so excited.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Motion carries.
All right, approval to convert 2 part-time Hagerstown Police Department positions to 1 full-time position.
Madam Mayor, hereby move for mayor and council approval to convert the current 2 part-time street crime operators to a full-time position, providing lobby coverage and monitoring of our street crime cameras. The FY23 budget currently includes funding for 2 part-time street camera operators, so additional funding is not necessary.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of non-union pay scale.
Madam Mayor, hereby move for the mayor and council approval of the increase to the attached non-union pay scale by 3% to be effective July 4th, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of the Hagerstown Police Department non-union pay scale.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move for mayor and council approval of the increase to the attached HPD non-union pay scale to be effective July 4th, 2022.
Second.
Any discussion? Oh, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of Amendment 1 to the Memorandum of Understanding for the Miscellaneous Safety Improvement Safe Routes to School Infrastructure Project.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move the approval of Amendment 1 to the Memorandum of Understanding with the Maryland Department of Transportation for the Miscellaneous Safety Improvement Safe Routes to School Infrastructure Project. This amendment increases the grant funds available.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of Amendment 1 to the Memorandum of Understanding for the Frederick Street at Eastern Boulevard Signal Improvement Safe Routes to School Infrastructure Project.
Madam Mayor, I hereby move for the approval of Amendment 1 of Amendment 1 to the Memorandum of Understanding with the Maryland Department of Transportation for the Frederick Street, for the Frederick Street at Eastern Boulevard Signal Improvement Safe Routes to School Infrastructure Project. This amendment increases the grant funds available.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval to perform an experience study through CBIZ Retirement and Investment Solutions.
Madam Mayor, I hereby approve the recommendation to do an experience study on the police and fire employees retirement plan. The cost of the study is $12,000.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Approval of Capital Projects Program Bay Restoration Fund Grant Application for Enhanced Nutrient Removal Operation and Maintenance.
Madam Mayor, move the mayor and city council to approve the Bay Restoration Fund grant application for engineering and capital projects for enhanced nutrient removal operation and maintenance. Funding will be used for enhanced nutrient removal improvement projects identified in the FY23 CIP and operating budget to help ensure compliance with the city's NPDES nutrient load requirements for nitrogen and phosphorus.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things. Customer service, utility customer service will be closed Thursday afternoon, June 30th for year-end processing. It will reopen at 8 o'clock on Friday, July 1st. City offices will be closed on Monday, July 4th for Independence Day. Trash is delayed one day.
Okay. Gotcha.
Councilman Brucci.
I won't call you.
Good. And then also fireworks at Fairgrounds Park Monday night at between 9 and 9:30. And look forward to seeing a bunch of folks out there. That's it for me.
Thank you. Councilmember Ashar?
A couple of comments. I hope everyone has a safe holiday. I will be absent from the meeting next week. I will not be in town.
No one's here.
I thought you said July 5th.
We don't have
Oh, I wasn't in the room.
Okay.
I thought I heard you say we did meet.
12.
I was thinking, man.
Well, we'll miss you.
You won't be missed. You won't be missed on the 5th,
We
Kristen.
will
I
miss
promise.
The other item is the annexation this evening, and I know that the representative for the applicant spoke in regard to there's going to be more opportunity for the city to have comment on the proposal. For those that have not been through the process before, I just want to make it clear that that statement is frankly a bit foreign to me because the way we typically operate in Frederick County is this is the elected body's chance or opportunity to review when a property owner wants to bring a property into the corporate boundaries of your municipality, of laying out those expectations of what you would like to see, once it does get into the hands of the planning and development process, boards and commissions that review that. So, it isn't just a matter of you just simply bringing a piece of property or changing the boundaries from point X to point Y. There is proposed development. So, you know what I mean? Once that's in, you sort of are done with your opportunity to say, we want to make sure there's a park in this neighborhood. We want to make sure the streets connect in this neighborhood. We want to make sure that there are forested areas in this neighborhood. That opportunity then is passed along to simply the rules and regulations of the planning process that you adopt, that your other boards and commissions carry out. And so I think it's important to understand that it's not simply you're bringing a piece of property in. You're bringing a piece of property in the municipality because you understand that it's going to develop and you want it to occur in a manner that is as beneficial as possible, to the community's overall long-term well-being and health. That said, and I'm glad that the chief's here. I wanted to make this remark, and I think I've had this thought any number of times after school shootings, frankly, have occurred, and It's not something certainly that we as an elected body have set up here and had a conversation about. You know, I know that my one daughter who goes to MK Dow remarked, you know, frankly, how much safer she felt, you know, after the recent occurrence. And I know school's out for the school year, but, you know, the fact that we did see a Hagerstown City police officer there every day for, you know, a week or so. And the contrast to that, my other daughter goes to Springfield Middle, and that wasn't present. And she expressed, you know, the opposite of that opinion. And, you know, everybody looks at social media nowadays, and I thought it was a really neat item that popped up that I had the opportunity to watch, and I think it's Shelbyville. Anyway, there's a school out there that has invested $400,000 into, and it is pretty much the state of the art. So if you wanted to find, like, you know, what's the pinnacle of what you could do within your schools to make sure that your children are safe, you know, that's the example, you know what I mean? And even if we did half of that example, we would be 10 times better off than what we have now. And you know, it sucks, frankly, that you have to recognize that that's a reality of society moving forward. And so I'll just say it very simply. I think we need to find $200,000 a year in our city budget to look at spending $200,000 a year in each of the schools that exist within our municipal boundaries to make practical, necessary investments into those safety measures that we can, and that the Board of Ed may welcome us to partner with them to do within those schools to make that happen. For folks in the community to understand what $200,000 a year means, that's $10 out of your $1,200 a year you pay in taxes. So, you know, it's less than you spend in a week on coffee. And so, to me, I think it's a no-brainer, and I think it's a conversation that I'd like to have, and that comes from a reflection of you know, my kids sort of expressing that opinion. So, just a thought.
I think that would be a great conversation to have.
I'll echo Councilman Alshire's and city administrator's thoughts about having a safe July 4th. Go out and enjoy our independence. Also, for anybody who's interested, early voting starts for the primary on July 7th, runs through July 14th. There are two early voting sites. One is the Board of Election on Virginia Avenue, and the other is at the Washington County Free Library, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m., July 7th through the 14th. Go vote. Thank you.
Great.
I was going to say what Bob said. Make sure you vote, guys. That's all.
Councilmember Martinez?
Yeah, what Bob said.
Okay.
And thank you, Mayor Slasher, for your presence this evening.
Yes.
Yeah, just a couple of things.
Refreshing.
Yes, Paige, you have the most poise. You are just sitting out there, and I think you were listening to every single word. You were listening more than I might have been. So your family must be very proud of you. So you did a great job. Congratulations. I can't wait to read your essay. I just want
more patience than me.
Definitely, yeah. Lots of poise. Congratulations, Mom and Dad. Just wanted to thank Captain Langston and Lieutenant Renner. I had a situation where a citizen had called and had a concern, and they were very, very swift and were quick to follow up with me and with the citizen. And it just goes to show that, you know, if there is a concern, that we have incredible officers and really willing to, you know, go the extra mile and contact the citizens, do the due diligence to find out what was the problem, and we're able to follow up. And we heard that even tonight from Mr. Staub and from the neighborhood, that, you know, we do have an excellent, excellent police force, so thank you very much. Kristen, it sounds like you just volunteered to be on the Envy board, so that's what that comment sounded like to me. We got lots of plans going on, so we're ready for you. That's it.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to thank everyone who came out to Imagine Hagerstown on Friday night. It was a good turnout. We do have the Amish Outlaws coming on July 7th, which should be a lot of fun. And I also wanted to thank the organizers of the Miss Maryland pageant. We had a mayor's luncheon with them on Friday. Tiara was able to join. And we had Miss Teen and Miss Maryland there, the past, and then some of the girls competing currently. And I had them go around the room and discuss what they were up to, what they're going to school for, what their social initiatives are. And when I tell you, these women are mind-blowing. These young ladies, teenagers and girls going to college, I mean, already getting their doctorate degrees. The one girl graduated with her MBA, I think she said in 2 years. Just the things that they're passionate about and the things that they're working on is truly, truly incredible. So I applaud them and am appreciative that we are able to hold that pageant here in downtown Hagerstown. And I echo everyone's sentiments about 4th of July. I hope to see you at the fairgrounds. And MSO's event is Saturday night at HGC, so there's going to be a lot of good things happening in the community. Hope to see everyone out and about. And with that, Mayor Schlosser, also I want to thank Mrs. Merrill. Thank you for coming tonight. And thank you for what you do. I mean, I think that you have the most important job in this entire world, and that's molding our youth. And you do it in an environment right now that I can only imagine how difficult it is. So I appreciate you for what you do and for showing up and for making sure that your students are engaged. It doesn't go unnoticed. And as a mom of a daughter, I just hats off to you and thank you for all that you do. And Mayor Schlosser, if you would like to end the meeting, it's my gavel. You can say we're adjourned and bang it down as hard as you want.
Say what?
We're adjourned.
John, say safe.
And then just, yep, as loud as you want, as hard as you want.
Okay. John.
Yes, good job. Look at my kid.
Thank you for coming up here.